So in addition to the degrees that it confers on its graduates, Columbia College Chicago awards honorary degrees to individuals whose professional accomplishments, creative vision, and engagement with the world truly embody the college's ideals. We will award 3 such degrees this weekend at our commencement ceremonies, and the biographies of those honorees can be found printed in the program on pages 14 and 15. Now, right now, I would like to ask Dr. Rosita Sands, Interim Dean of the School of Fine Arts and Performing Arts, my boss, that's the program I'm in, you'd think I would say it right. And she will honor this distinguished individual. Thank you, Rosita.
It is a great pleasure to welcome Cheryl Johnson-Odom back to Columbia College, and an honor to introduce her to all of you who have gathered here on this very special occasion. Cheryl Johnson-Odom is a pioneer in higher education in the city of Chicago. As a glance at her biography in the program will indicate, there are a lot of firsts associated with her name. She was the first woman and first African American to chair the history department at Loyola University Chicago. Yes. She was the inaugural dean of the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences at our institution, Columbia College, a position that she held from 2000 to 2006. From there, she went on to serve with distinction as the Chief Academic Officer at Dominican University in River Forest. She has also held numerous leadership positions in professional organizations such as the African Studies Association and the Illinois Humanities Council. At Columbia, Dr. Johnson-Odom was known as a thoughtful and effective leader who was capable of making difficult decisions, but who was also mindful of the impact of those decisions on people's lives. As dean, she revived the college's general education program, thereby restoring the study of the liberal arts to the core of the Columbia educational experience. She was a person with high standards and high expectations, and she rejected the false stereotype that students in creative disciplines were fuzzy thinkers who could never manage the rigors of a liberal arts curriculum. She was also supportive of faculty and of the role of faculty in the academic leadership of the institution, and she was respected by her fellow deans as a generous and supportive colleague. At Columbia, we seek to create an academic community with a deep institutional commitment to the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Cheryl Johnson-Odom's life and work embody that commitment. She is a respected scholar of African American history and of the history of sub-Saharan Africa. She was a founding editorial board member of the Journal of Women's History, which is a leading scholarly journal in the field of women's studies, and she was a prominent and dedicated activist in the long international struggle against the former apartheid regime in South Africa. In all that she has done throughout her long and distinguished career, Cheryl Johnson-Odom has brought rigor, a clarity of thought, and a profound emotional connection to people. It is no exaggeration to say that she epitomizes the highest ideals of this college. Please welcome our newest honorary degree recipient, Dr. Cheryl Johnson-Odom.
Good afternoon and thank you. Gonna have to forgive my voice, I'm having an allergy attack, so. I have heard that the best commencement speeches all have one thing in common. They are short. I will try to honor that axiom. Albert Einstein once wrote, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. And in many ways, imagination and knowledge are cooperatives in our brains because they fuel one another. Many people think of imagination as being important only to the arts, but they are wrong. Imagination is as important to the medical sciences and other sciences as it is to art, the humanities, and the social sciences. Our imaginations are fueled by everything that a liberal arts education exposes us to. Imagination is one of the strongest links between the arts, the humanities, the social sciences, and the so-called hard sciences. The hard sciences are what people often refer to as the STEM. That is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But the acronym STEM has now made way for a new and better acronym, STEAM, S-T-E-A-M, which stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. No matter what your field, your talent, or your education, one of the most important roles that you will play is that of citizen. For we all are responsible for creating the kind of society in which we wish to live and for making the change we wish to see. Because change does not happen, change is made. There is a saying that, quote, no snowflake in an avalanche ever feels responsible. The truth is, each and every snowflake in an avalanche is responsible, and each and every citizen is responsible. When we look for examples of positive and progressive change in the interest of the human condition, we find artists and intellectuals at the helm, because together they depict, portray, and analyze that human condition. Artists are intellectuals, and intellectuals are artists. Every architect puts math into sight. Every dancer puts physics into motion. Every visual artist employs chemistry, and every playwright and filmmaker utilizes history and philosophy. Poets and writers of fiction, graphic artists and musicians, painters and actors, those who train to manage the arts and help them thrive, all exert a tangible influence on society, for they shape what we think of ourselves and others, often educating us about the past and postulating the future. Art is often the strongest record that anthropologists and historians have to reconstruct the past, especially for pre-literate societies, which the majority of people all over the world were up until about the 17th century. The wealthy were literate, but most people could not read or write. The arts, therefore, were so important because they were the expressive language of the people, the worker bees, the plebeians, the proletariat, and not just the privileged. The arts left records of how people lived and organized themselves and their value systems. Columbia College's history fits into the history of movements aimed at bettering the human condition. In its most recent iteration, it was founded by progressives who believed everyone deserved an education. And Columbia College admitted students who might not have been admitted elsewhere and who went on to make their names in the world. I won't name them here, but you can go on the internet and look for the stellar list of Columbia College Chicago alumni, one of whom is my son. In this age, when higher education is becoming less available due to high costs and onerous student debt, despite the challenges, we must not lose our souls. We must double down on our commitment to educate the creative and the non-wealthy. Columbia's motto, Esse quam videre, is translated as to be rather than to seem. What a powerful charge that is to you graduates, to be rather than to seem to be. I want to leave you with two last thoughts. One is an excerpt from a song by Roberta Flack, and I was reminded of it after listening to Dr. Kim's remarks. And it says, always remember, my friend, the world will change again, and you may have to pass back through everywhere you've been. So think of that when you deal with people. So I salute you in this place where your imaginations are fueled, and I give you the charge to share the power of your educations. Thank you.